and a very good evening from central London. You join me outside of Victoria Coach Station for a video I think is fair to say has been a long time in the coming. Today, I'll be returning back home to Bradford with National Express to see if the coach is in any way a good alternative to the train. Now, coaches and buses aren't particularly my favourite way of getting around, but we'll go into this one with an open mind. But first, of course, we need to check out Victoria Coach Station. Well, as you can probably tell from the name, Victoria Coach Station is located just a short walk away from Victoria Railway Station and the nearby Underground Station. It opened in the early 1930s and is a major hub for domestic intercity coach services, as well as a select number of services to continental Europe. As you enter the building, you'll find a customer information point, as well as numerous departure boards. And the good news is that our bus is all set and looking to depart on time at 7:30. You'll also find a few shops and eateries scattered throughout the complex, as well as a number of vending machines, including this one which dispenses hot food, which I thought was rather cool. Now naturally this evening we'll be departing from pretty much one of the furthest gates from the entrance, Gate 17. However, this does afford us the opportunity to cross the road and get up close and personal with the coaches, which is certainly in stark contrast to if we had taken the train. Wow, it seems like I have arrived at prime time this evening. Not only have we got services heading to pretty much all corners of the UK, but there are also 2 overnight services heading to Amsterdam, being operated by BlaBlaBus and Flixbus. There are also plenty of services operated by low-cost operator Megabus that are leaving, who I may just cover in a future video. Anyway, boarding commences around 20 minutes prior to departure. It's all quite civilised really. Once your ticket has been scanned, you'll be granted access to the coach. One benefit of travelling with National Express is that it's possible to check your luggage into the hold. Just don't forget to collect it when you alight at your destination. This evening's trip up to Bradford will be aboard a single-decker 21-plate Caivano Avanti coach, I really hope I'm saying that one right, which in various forms is the predominant type of coach operated by National Express.
Yeah, Bradford.
Thank you. Yeah, Bradford, yeah.
Cheers.
Entering the coach reveals a smart interior, featuring a standard 2+2 configuration. While it is possible to reserve a seat for a small fee, there's really no need to, as everyone's guaranteed a seat. I'd even say it's more convenient to choose your seat as you board. As it's empty, I'm going to sit in the emergency exit row, as it has way more legroom than the other seats and I'm quite tall. And we depart Victoria Coach Station bang on time. As we depart, I think we had better take a quick look at the route we'll be taking. We'll head more or less north through London, briefly stopping at Finchley Road, before joining the bottom of the M1 at Brent Cross. We'll then take the M1 all the way up to where it meets the M621 in Leeds, stopping only once at Meadowhall Interchange in Sheffield. After leaving the M1, we'll go on to stop at Leeds Bus Station, before continuing on our last little portion of the trip, via the M621, M62 and M606 to Nelson Street in Bradford, where we're scheduled to arrive at midnight. Scheduled travel time this evening is 4 hours and 45 minutes, and will see us covering a distance of roughly 210 miles, or 335 kilometres. I will say that one of the upsides of taking the coach is that you get to pass in close proximity to a good number of London's famous landmarks as we begin to negotiate our way out of the city. Right, before we hit the motorway, I think it's time we took a look at what these seats have to offer. Now obviously, in the exit row, legroom isn't really an issue at all. Unfortunately though, in the other seats, it does seem to be quite a bit tighter, but that does tend to be the case on coaches, and I am 6'1" or 185 centimeters tall after all. The seats themselves though are really comfortable and offer a good degree of recline. Each seat also comes equipped with, this rather flimsy tray table. However, you will also have access to not one but 2 USB sockets, which I was even able to get my phone to fast charge off of, and a reading light, although I don't think the driver activated these as none of them worked. And lastly, you'll also find a curtain. Not gonna lie, I was actually expecting much worse than this. Bar the slightly questionable legroom in the regular seats, these seats offer a very comfortable and perfectly acceptable experience. As you might have expected, these coaches also come equipped with a toilet. I was pleased to find that it was nice and clean and all working as intended. However, I was a bit disappointed to find that the soap dispenser hadn't been stocked up. Also, it might be worth waiting until you get on the motorway to use these, as otherwise you're going to be in for a, well, rather turbulent experience, shall we say. And lastly, this coach is equipped with complimentary Wi-Fi, although with speeds like that, it might as well not have been. With that, all that's left for us to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey up north. After a brief stop outside Finchley Road Tube Station, where no one else actually joined the coach, we pass Brent Cross Shopping Centre and join the bottom of the M1. As I'm sure I've mentioned in a previous video, the M1 is the second longest motorway in the country, running for some 193 miles or 310 kilometres from here at Brent Cross to where it meets the A1M north of Leeds. I must say, we were treated to a rather picturesque sunset as we battered our way north up the M1 at 60 miles an hour. I for one am definitely glad that it's beginning to feel a little bit like summer here in the UK. Between Leicester and Nottingham, we had to exit the motorway for a bit, due to roadworks closing the northbound carriageway. However, this must have been accounted for in the schedule, as we didn't incur a delay as a result of this. After this, I actually managed to fall asleep for a bit, which is a true testament to the comfort of these seats, and awoke to find that we were already approaching our next stop at Meadowhall Interchange. As well as coaches, Meadowhall Interchange sees services from trains and trams from within the same complex, with it serving Meadowhall Shopping Centre, to which it is directly connected. After Meadowhall, we rejoin the M1 for the last little stretch up to the M621 and Leeds. At long last, we reach junction 43 and the M621. This bit of the M621 actually used to be part of the M1, with both motorways formally meeting at junction 3 of the M621. However, when the M1 extension to the north of Leeds was opened in 1999, This former section of the M1 was incorporated into the M621. The M621 is only a short motorway, coming in at just 7.7 miles or 12.4 kilometres long, with it skirting to the south of Leeds city centre. A short time after joining the M621, we find ourselves leaving it temporarily to allow ourselves to call at Leeds bus station. After Leeds bus station, it's back onto the M621 we go. A short time later, we briefly join the M62, before leaving at Chamber to join the M606. The M606 is one of the shortest motorways in the country, clocking in at just 3 miles or 4.8 kilometres long, with pretty much its sole purpose being to connect the M62 and Chamber roundabout to Bradford. Anyway, as we're now approaching Bradford, I think it's about time I summarised. In terms of comfort, while the legroom was perhaps a bit questionable, in the regular seats that is, I thought that the seats themselves were superb and certainly went way beyond what I had been expecting. I think that a 7.5 out of 10 would be fair in the comfort category. In terms of occupancy, this was a fairly full service. However, you'll never find yourself standing on a National Express coach, thanks to the fact that your ticket guarantees you a seat. Therefore, while by no means impeding on our comfort, using my scoring system, I'd say that occupancy was medium. In terms of amenities, I thought that National Express did really well in this area too. While there wasn't any soap, which was a bit disappointing, the toilet was at least clean and tidy and working as intended. The USB sockets were a big hit in my opinion. Having not one but two per seat went way beyond my expectations. At the front of the coach there was also a space for a wheelchair user. It's also worth noting that there isn't any form of onboard catering on National Express's services, although I'm not quite sure how that would be practical with the limited room on the coach, and I certainly didn't expect it. Overall, National Express get a good in the amenities category. When it comes to punctuality, the statistics are really rather hard to come by, as unlike our domestic trains in the UK, there's not really a wide array of sources to find their performance on any given day. National Express claim that in March, 90% of their services ran on time. However, while I'm by no means suggesting that they can't be trusted, given that the only source I could find was National Express themselves, perhaps take that one with a grain of salt. For what it's worth, we arrived just under 10 minutes late. However, given that one person's experience isn't exactly a good sample size, I'd be curious to hear your experiences regarding this in the comments below. Anyway, finally we have the cost, and tickets are quite cheap really, with this trip costing me £12.90 one way. Note that National Express also charges a £1 booking fee for each transaction, because I'm sure it costs them that much to process each booking, right? So, I guess the real question is, would I take this over the train? Well, I was blown away by what was on offer here. The answer is probably not, unless it was significantly cheaper than the train that is. And given that Grand Central tickets between London and Bradford start at around the £12 mark if you have a rail card, and not to mention that they're much faster and have facilities such as more spacious seats and a buffet car, I know what I'd be choosing. However, this is, of course, just my opinion, so do let me know what you'd be picking in the comments below. Also, I had great fun filming and putting this video together, so do let me know if you'd perhaps like to see more coach trips in the future. And finally, we pull into Bradford Nelson Street, which is located just a short walk away from Bradford Interchange, at just before 12:25. With that, I'm off home to bed. However, in the meantime, I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, as all of them help me out immensely. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you get notified each and every time I upload. Special thanks, as always, goes to my fantastic patrons and channel members. If you want to join them in getting ad-free access to my videos, all while supporting the channel, then you can do so from just £1, dollar, or euro per month. You'll find the relevant links in the description below. With that, all that's left for me to say is thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you all next Friday.